Hello everybody, welcome to the sound test room, where today we're going to take a look at Groove Machine from ImageLine. So we're waiting for this Groove Machine Mobile, not to be confused with the Groove Machine for the FL Studio. We've been waiting for this for a while. It came out over a year ago, I think, for Windows and Android. And it was promised to come onto iOS, and it finally has. And it's exactly the same. It behaves exactly the same way. So if you're familiar with how that worked, then you're going to know how this works. But if you're not, I'm going to take you through a few different bits and pieces of the app. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. There are a few things that are dreadful. And one of those is the fact that it doesn't have audio bus support or inter-app audio. And the export is just iTunes. So when you've actually got a groove recorded and mixed and everything and ready to go, you just it exports as a WAV file to, I presume, your iTunes file sharing or iPhone box. But that's naff, because I want to be able to get it into things like Audio Share and other apps. So if you're watching ImageLine, please make it at least inter-app or audio bus, or at least make the file sharing on the iPad. You know, I know you guys get it now that people who use iPads to make music want to be able to get their music around on the iPad. Anyway, that said, let's have a look. So it's full MIDI. You can set it up to basically have anything controlled by a MIDI controller or a keyboard, which I've got it plugged into a little micro key for the keyboardy bits. So this is an empty project. You get a few projects to start here, and I've done a few, having to mess around with a few different things, and it's dead easy. So basically you get 10 drum tracks, separate tracks. You can, control each volume level, effects, send everything for each independent drum track, if you like, and then you get 5 keyboard slots to play with. So before we start putting things in, we can select our samples by this here, and then you've got all your bass samples, keys, leads. So we just select bass 1. Now, as another one of my niggles here, there's no way to preview, so we just got to hit and hope basically. So we'll start with bass 1. You don't have to keep going back to that. You swipe to change the sound, but here's bass 1. So keyboard and output. There it is on the, and you have modulation and pitch bend. And to change the sound, you just swipe, and you can go through different sounds, and these are all the different controls you have for each sound as well. So say what we would say that, and then we can select something. Let's select some keys here. So the sounds are good, and of course any adjustments we can make to your sound here. So for instance, we have our level here, and then we have our filter. Now you can see that it's switched off, and you have different filter types here, and then different modulation types for that filter, if you like. And then here you have your synchronization for your LFO. So let's say cut off, switched off, so switch it on. And then delay. But we can select we have 3 effect slots basically, so we can select from all these different things. We have filter, amplitude, a reverb, a ring modulator, a so you could have that effect set on, or you have it on or off, it's up to you. And then different modulation types. And say you were happy with that awful sound that I've just made, you could just hit keys 2 here, and save preset, and we'll just call it awful, because that's what it is, because there's no time. Save. Now, if you wanted to recall awful, it was not going to appear here. It'll appear in your user bank down here, where I've already programmed the bass, which was slightly better. So this is the one I programmed earlier. Now also, you have lots of other controls. You have an EQ here for your sound, if you like. Which is nice. And again, you could save that. Now this is cool. You can select it's like almost like a full-blown synth in a way. You can select loads of different things. Noise. And then you have your different waves. So you have got, quite a lot of control. So we've done the EQ. So then there's modulation now. There's frequency modulation. And we have ring. A bit filter. You can also use for keyboard tracking. And the envelope generator for your filter. And then you have your basic, you have an envelope generator here for other things as well. Velocity. And then different ways to play the sound as well. So we can select duo here. So, like I said, there's lots of different, and the sounds are good, Loads of cool sounds. But I mean, Image Line FL are good. Good sounds. And the fact that you can have change between two waves. Let's see. There we go. So I mean, this is kind of, like I say, you don't get millions, but you can save your own new presets. So that's the cool thing. And what else have you got here? Some lead sounds are great. Poly or mono, auto slide or transpose. So we can choose, like, for instance, let's have that as unison. few more. Some of the pads are great as well. I like it. What I don't like is the fact that I can't get it anywhere. So let's see. So we've had a look at some of the sounds here. You have special effects, synth sounds. What else do we have here? Oh, you do have sampled instruments, but it doesn't appear to be any way to get other sampled instruments in here. But they are pretty good. They are good sounds. And you have the same control over your effects as you do over any of the other synth sounds. So that's pretty cool. So what I'm going to do, it was a little thing I wanted to just show you how easy it was to program these as well. Also, I will point out as well that this is a loop-based Groove Machine. And when it's on an empty preset like this, once you start to play, I don't think you can do tracking along the little track 1 loop. And along the bottom here, and this is where you set up, by the way, your MIDI control. So you could, set your pads up and stuff. This is the score section. So this is, I tell you what, the best thing to do, I suppose, to start with is let's load up a kick drum here. So as well, it's also kind of velocity. You can quieter. And then again, you select from different kicks. So we'll stick with that one. And I go along and load a snare in now. And we just choose from snares here. And I don't know, we'll just that's a bit naff. Of course, you can, again, you've got all this control. Okay, so that'll do. Also, again, so it's, you can control it with your MIDI. So now, at this point as well, like I was saying, it's sample based. So if we was just to let's just switch our metronome on and record a basic, really basic pattern, and I'll explain when there's no counting either. There may have, but I can't find it, so I can't find the counting. But there you go. So we'll just start it. So you can see there now. This is good because it's set in on auto quantize for us here. Now we can control this by going to the score, and there is our quantize controller. There's a little magnet there, and you can have quantize off, or you can have 1/8, 1/4, 1/12, 1 or auto. Okay, so auto's nice. It just quantizes everything quite nicely. Now, if I wanted to, the thing is now, if I want to, let's just put the level of that down a little bit. Also, this is a cool thing as well. If I'm not happy with that kick, I don't have to go back into here and change the kick out. I have better options. Sorry, to get rid of that. If we go to sample here, you will see that there's it's like 2 samples per sample, per hit, if you like. So you have sample 1, which is dubstep kick A, and then sample 2, which is jungle kick. If we don't like that, we can just hit this. Now you'll see that there's loads and loads more kicks than just was originally in there. So that we could go this, or we change that out a bit, and we have a balance. And we can have a tune for sample 2 or 1, and then the decay. And then again, of course, we have our effects. Now, the thing is, right, if I don't want this to be 1 bar, say I want it to be 2 bars. There are a couple of ways to do this. I found a nice workaround. It doesn't appear to be anywhere I can set my initial bar length. So say, for instance, I want it to be 4 bars, 5 bars, 8, 10, 16, whatever. But what you do here to do this is you just anywhere outside the field, you can just select your things. Yeah. Now, and then you can move them to the next bar, and depending on where your snap is. Now, if I just touch it now, it will just move them. Okay, if I just touch outside the field, it's just going to move them and leave the first bar blank. But we want it to be 2 of those. So let's put that back there to the beginning, and let's hit duplicate. And now we have our 2 bars. And now what will happen? The actual loop will be 2 bars long as well. But say, for instance, you want to set something up beforehand. And also as well, what I've noticed is the loop will be 2 bars for every single synth section. So you can't have one section 1 bar, one section 16 bars. So you're kind of locked into your first initial or bar what you set up. But you can do the score for the keyboards as well, for the MIDI. So the MIDI control is quite good, and there's different ways you can, you can tap on a note and copy it there, double tap on it to delete it. So once you tap on it and put it somewhere else, that's what you do. So if I tap on that one, tap on that one, and then I don't know what happened there. Anyway. The point being is that there are ways you can read the instructions, and it just says that certain things to touch on one thing, and there you go. You touch on it once, double tap to delete, double tap to delete. So, for instance, I'll delete that there. I'll just touch that one and put it back there, and then put it there and double tap on that one, and it should be, theoretically, just about back to normal. Yeah, so that's how you can control and put different things in on your sequencer. So what I wanted to do is I want to set something up for 4 bars, but I don't want to have to be programming drums and stuff. I just want the loop to start with 4 bars, so I can then add variation to what I'm playing as it records over its first bar. So what I did, so if we go back to this now, we'll go back to New Groove. Just discard that. Before we even start, we can select our pad down here and go to score. And this is an empty pad down the bottom. Now, unless you're going to fill up 10 pads, which is highly unlikely. You might, I don't know. But you can always change it later. It doesn't matter. What I'm going to do is put a bar. It kindly puts bar 3 for me there. Now, obviously, there's no sound here. But what I've actually done is create a 4-bar loop for me to start with without having any sounds or anything like that. So then now I can start to add my drums and stuff to this, for instance. So we'll quickly just add a kick in there. So we'll just add that one, and we'll add empty. We'll add a what's it in here? Where does it mean? Hat there. We'll add that one in there, and we'll stick a snare drum in here. So just quickly, so now when I turn quantize on, go back. Of course, what I'm going to have to do now is pretty much play it straight off. So because there's no counting, and I'm hoping I can get this right. So I don't know. It doesn't matter. We can fix it later. But there's no problem here. So, oh yeah, because it's auto quantized to width, fine. And then I can start to just go to my keys and add bits and pieces over that 4-bar loop. So, there's that. So what I did as well earlier was set up this. I wanted to do this, so just hats. Yeah, discard. So I set this thing up. We'll get to this page in a sec. And so I want to record some. I wanted to do something like one of those John Carpenter type thing. So I wanted to do something like this. Just make sure I'm where I want to be. What I should have done really, while we're here as well, I have one level of undo. Okay, I think. Yeah. So that could be better as well. So am I back to my... Yeah. Sorry. I have to wait for it to come round, see? And I'm done. So the next thing I want to do is add some sound, a pad sound. I found a pad sound that I liked for this particular thing. So here's my score here. Now this page is cool. This allows you can then copy up to copy that loop onto another loop. All you need to do is hold, move it over, release, and then replace all, and then you've got exactly the same thing on that loop. Wait for the MIDI notes. Let me just select. Okay, so here's our mixer, and on our mixer we have our pan control here, and attack, sustain, decay, release, and then our delay, our reverb, our filter if we wanted it. If we hold this, if we hold any of these, you get the XY. And all this can be recorded. And then you have your EQ as well, again, and your sample that you can change out. So you can see how this works. Now this glitch thing, if I switch glitch on, that means it's enabled for the control. So it would be the same if I switched glitch on for the other things as well. So that's what that does, and that's your glitch controls there. Again, control over samples and all the rest of it. Now, at this point, I'm going to go to, there's our score. Well, there's no automation there at the moment, but we're going to automate. But first of all, we're going to leave that switched on, and I'm going to go to my controls, and I'm going to switch off those. So that's your mute. So switch on and off there. So we just have the hi-hat now. Now I'm going to show you how automation works and recording a track, a song if you like. We can do this all in loop on, or we can swap. It will record and remember any movements basically, but it records it, it's quite clever, it records it in a linear fashion. So although your loop may be 4 bars long, if I automate something over those 4 bars, when it repeats itself, the automation won't be there. It will only automate for the time that you're automating. And this will make more sense when I show you. So what we're going to do is just hit record and start off. Of course, if you're more accurate, you're going to get this better. So we can stop that now, and we'll go back to the beginning. And if we now go to automation lane, this shows you the automation, okay? And it will also show you where you can switch on and switch off any particular track, and down here is what's been automated, sort of thing, so you can see. And what you'll see as well, it remembers the automation for the particular part that you're playing in. So the thing ran over, what is it, stretchy thing, anyway, and that's the full thing. The thing went over 16 bars. It's crashed. I'm not gonna, this is staying in. So the app's crashed, right? And now it won't even load. Oh, here we go. Right. So so test automation. Yeah, it's something I did earlier. We can use that as well. But where's my thing that I had set up here? JC test. No, I didn't. Okay. Let's see if it works again. Right, okay. I'm not going to go through all that again. I'm sure it'll be fine. One more thing I'm going to show you as well is what I was trying to show you earlier before it exploded was, let me see, test automation. So I did this earlier on, and it shows you, as it'll go along, it'll show you different things will jump in and out over one loop. By the way, this is one of their demo songs, by the way, not mine, but I just messed around with it a little bit for the automation. So it gets to here and I switch all the synthesizer banks off. The automation is the automation is dead easy. It's a dead easy app to get to understand how it works, and you spend a little time. Like I said, now I could go back and I could record something else. I hit play and record, and then I can make more adjustments and stuff, switch stuff on and off, and as you go, like I said, it'll remember. And if I'm happy with the loop there, don't forget I can just copy it anywhere I like, just by doing this. There's your metronome. I think basically, guys, that's it. Sorry about the crash, but hey, be aware, it may crash, and all that work that I did's gone. It's gone forever. It's gone. Can't get it back. Anyway, I'm sure it's just a glitch. Nothing's perfect, is it? Anyway, all right then, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. If you do like the video, subscribe to the channel. Visit us at thesoundtestroom.com. Become a patron. That is awesome. Cheers, guys. I'll see you later.